Sup nerds, I'm Tom. I'm going to talk to y'all about an expansion for one of my favorite games. It's the Ambassadors for Among the Stars. So what this expansion gives you is almost like a second copy of the base game. I mean, obviously you still need the base game because you need like all of the power reactors and tokens and the scoreboard and all that kind of stuff. But it gives you enough cards to basically like completely replace the base deck, or you can mix and match if you want to. And it also gives you these ambassador cards, which is an additional mechanic. And obviously the ambassadors is probably the most important thing, so we'll talk about that. These are dudes that come out here. You have three. I just spread them out here right now, but you'll have three different ones to pick from, and you can buy them. It's kind of a new action. So you burn a card like you would normally do to get money or to build a power reactor, but now you can burn one to try and invite ambassadors to come to your station. So they aren't actual locations that go into your grid, so to speak. They're just they're special abilities that you have that'll be off to the side, but that doesn't mean that your base isn't growing. You have these bureaus that will go in place of a card, and it's just a blank card that is just a color, so it'll still help you trigger other cards that will get you points off of the color of the card and stuff. And the only caveat with the ambassadors, well, two big things. One is that you can never invite a ambassador over that's the same race that you are. A lot of the times, the race of the ambassador will give you an ability that's very similar or works way too well with the ability that you actually have as being that race. So it's really good that you can't just start stacking up on that one thing and just get tons and tons of money, or just be overpowered in that one area. And it's almost kind of like, I have the superior version of this special ability, but hey, if you get this ambassador, you might have something that's kind of similar to that, but maybe not as good. I also really like that they have level 1 and level 2. It's a bit of you have to know the game a little bit to like look at a level 1 and be like, that's really good, but hey, there's a level 2 that it's kind of a little bit better. It does the same thing, but it's better. So you should know what, you should know what to be looking for. Also, it can cause a lot of problems with timing issues because a lot of people will flip up a card like, oh, I'm burning it to get an ambassador. I'm burning it to get an ambassador. So there's even something in the rulebook about timing issues and what you do if that were to happen. And to be honest, I don't really remember that ever happening in the base game in general. So that's almost kind of new. Like, granted, maybe there are some things that the timing would trigger. Maybe like the ones where you have to choose who's going to get money or something like that. But honestly, I don't really, it definitely, if it's a thing, it's not as big of a thing as it is with the ambassadors. It's something that we have to pull up and look at the rules every single time. And it's very, it does slow the game down a bit, because then it's like, it's not just pick the card and flip. It's like, pick the card, whoa, whoa, whoa. We're going to have to go in this order to announce what we're going to do. Because it's also like, I'm going to pick an ambassador. Oh, you took the ambassador I wanted? Is it okay for me to not take an ambassador? Okay, right. So it's actually, you go and you announce what you're going to do, and then you go and you announce what you're going to do, that type of thing. I gotta say, I do really like the ambassadors. It's really fun, but they're almost, not, I'm going to say they're too much, but a lot of the times, like when we were playing, every time we flipped up a new ambassador, everybody at the table goes, well, what does this new ambassador do? They always have to check, and it's all this, and we're constantly fighting over them. It almost drew a little too much from the regular game. At least at first, I think we were all just like really excited, and then after a while, we're kind of like, okay, this guy isn't that great. This guy isn't that great. We were all like, it's all cool to have all these extra abilities at first, but then after a while, you're like, okay, I mean, that's cool, but come on, I gotta play my game. I gotta do what I gotta do here. And again, while I do like this, I probably still wouldn't include this for new players. Like in the base game of Among the Stars, they have like the missions. They could say that like, oh, you don't have to play with the missions for new players. That I would still include. A lot of the stuff that they talked about in the base, even like the special powers, they said you could possibly not include that in the base game for new players. But a lot of those I'm like, yeah, no, I can still include that. These, I would probably let them play a game or two before they jump into this. But even though this ambassador thing is kind of the meat of the expansion, what I really like, honestly, is just the fact that we have all new cards. And a big part of that is because I play Among the Stars on the app a whole lot. So I do tend to see the same cards over and over and over again for the base game. So I really like that we get to have new cards. Some of these cards can actually just be added in with the base game. Like you can just use these as just new cards to mix it up in the base game and not really worry about the ambassadors. There are some that specifically target the ambassadors, so you can't just mix it in willy-nilly. So I do still keep this separate in my box here with the broken token insert. We have a video for that on the channel here. But I do really like things like the racetrack gets you points for a 4x4 grid. I like that some of the cards have immediate and endgame scoring stuff on there. I really like these escape pods too, are really cool. They're 0, They're free, but you're not allowed to discard them for anything else. So if you take it, you have to build it. Also, this high security area, this one's really cool. It's 5 points at the end of the game, but it's a +1 if there's no green within 2, and +1 if there's no purple within 2, and +1 if there's no yellow within 2. So there's just, again, having new cards. It's almost like refreshing to be playing and be like, oh, hey, I haven't seen that. That's new. Ooh. So as you can tell, obviously I love Among the Stars, so I like this expansion. I just like having more stuff. But there are 2 other expansions. There's Revival and Expanding the Alliance. Revival I still have yet to play, but I would almost kind of recommend getting Expanding the Alliance first, because I'm pretty certain that's one that adds an extra player. Now, there are ambassadors in that one, and I'll post another video talking about that one. So there might be some stuff that you can't use yet. But again, I mostly just want new cards. This is cool. It's fun. Almost eclipses the game a little bit too much sometimes. I will play with this, but this isn't like essential, but more cards for the base game just to mix it up. That's the main reason why I like this expansion. We're going to have a purchase link for this in the description box down below. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll never be bored.